Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA Home. I'm here with Colleen Zimmerman from TERRA, and we are talking about fall planting of our bulbs. And today, being the last day of summer, moving into fall tomorrow. That's okay though. We love fall. This is something we need to think about now.
Yes, we're thinking about spring.
Yeah, so that's even better. We'll just skip right past winter, shall we?
Exactly, yeah.
These things work that way?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk from the perspective of both, for people who plant bulbs all the time to people who have never done it before.
Okay.
We found an easier way to do it.
Yes, we have. Fall is the perfect time to plant your bulbs, such as tulips, daffodils, because they need that overwintering period in order to get rooted and established and to snap out of their cold spell, and that's what makes them grow.
Okay.
So that's why we plant them in the fall.
All right, good to know.
So in general, like these are tulip bulbs, and you can buy them in packages, you can buy them in bulk, so you can buy like lots and lots of them, especially if you have a larger property or like just for big impact.
Sure.
And you can cover large areas. So in general, when you're planting bulbs, you plant them pointy side up. And tulips usually a couple inches, daffodils about 4 to 5 inches. Just depending on how big the bulb is. The bigger the bulb, the deeper you want to go with them.
Okay.
And it just is more for stability of the bulbs and so that they don't pull themselves out of the ground too.
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
That does happen. We talked about sometimes if you forget where you planted your bulbs, then you can also dig those up as well, which is an example of why some of this stuff that we're trying to show you in a little bit is so handy. Now, again, planting with bulbs, there are a few things obviously you have to think about because there are other issues we need to deal with as well, because animals like to dig them up too, don't they?
Yes, they do. So there are specific types of bulbs actually that the animals don't like. Tulips are one that they do. Tulips are like chocolate for squirrels.
And that's just not good. Because that's one of my favorite things to plant.
Yes.
There are some old-fashioned remedies people have come up with, and
like there's the hair, there's shells, there's all this like cayenne pepper. Everything's a deterrent.
Right.
Nothing is foolproof for squirrels.
Yeah,
they're
squirrels
smart
are like,
little...
oh yeah, hair, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I just had to work for my bonbon.
Yep.
So, okay.
One thing you can do is companion planting.
Right.
So daffodils and hyacinths are two things that they do not like. So if you plant your tulips amongst them, then not only will you deter the squirrels, but you'll also get a great show of flowers for a longer period of time, because all of those will start to come up when they, like from early to mid to late. And
I think that's something significant we were talking about before, before we went to air here, that it really is, it's nice to have sort of that wave of color. So having things timed out like that, and that's where people sometimes aren't sure about, am I going to be able to figure this out? That this is actually going to work this way.
Yes.
And again, these containers help.
So we've come up with a new product.
Right.
That is great. Not only does this help you figure out what goes with what timing and all that kind of thing, but it also saves you a ton of time. So basically, these are easy to plant.
Yep.
You dig a hole, pop in the tray, and cover it up with dirt.
The whole tray.
The whole tray.
So show that tray over there, because that just gives you, so this is actually just going to break down over time.
Yep, this is biodegradable.
Totally safe for the environment.
Yep.
And these are all filled with bulbs.
Yes, so this one here is actually the dark purple tulips that are almost black. So what you do is you take the cover off, and then these all come all pre-packed with the bulbs in them. So then you just dig the hole, place this in the ground. The directions are in here on how deep to plant it on the bottom. So this particular one, you'd plant it 5 inches deep, like dig a hole 5 inches deep, place the tray on it, fill it up with dirt. You're good till spring.
Now think about that, because you think about how many are actually in this container, and we were talking about how if you're planting single bulbs, it can be quite a tedious process.
Yes, it can be time consuming, as well as the fact that this is going to give you a big impact.
Right, because they're perfectly spaced apart, but nice and tight still, where sometimes, as we were saying, some people are doing singles and singles and singles, and sometimes it, especially if a couple of them don't work out, then you've got like a big space and then a tulip.
It looks like little soldiers in your garden.
It does, right? So this is actually nice. You're going to get a nice clump, a grouping of these.
Exactly.
And you're guaranteed they're kind of a little bit protected, and they're all facing up, they're all the right direction, everything's good.
Yes, very easy. Cool. And the great thing with these too, you can go like with one solid type, like the tulips here, or these are Scilla, and they are very early. They're usually about March, April, depending on the season.
Oh, cool.
And same thing with them, the grape muscari there. They're early blooming. And actually this particular variety of narcissus or daffodil is actually an early variety too, and it's a dwarf. So all of these three in particular are really good for condos, small spaces, because they're not going to be really huge to take over.
And it just gives you balance in front of your property, right?
Yeah.
And again, people are just craving for color and actual real plant life in the early spring like that. So this is nice to see this kind of stuff.
And so those are like your solid combinations. So you'd have like one impact of a solid color.
Okay.
And then we also have lots of other combinations here too. So this has got like the blues. It's got the muscari as well as the tulips. So your muscari will come up first, and then your tulips will go right through it.
Beautiful.
So the nice thing about this is that it's actually layered. When you're planting, when I was talking about combination plantings with your, to keep the squirrels out, this is also great because then it gives you that succession of bloom.
Right. Again, so it comes back to that. And again, this is so easy because if you have that space in your garden, Lizzie, as you're saying, you follow the directions to know how deep you plant it, done. That's it.
Yep, you water it in, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Dig, drop, done.
And again, it's exciting because it's like a present actually in the spring, right?
Exactly.
Oh, look what I did.
So this one has like your purple crocus, which are early, and then this is a dwarf tulip, which is also early.
Nice. I like this one too.
And then this one is for later, a little bit later, and this is all of this is squirrel and deer resistant. These are the alliums. So it's 2 different varieties of allium. It's from the onion family. And they're gorgeous. So you get the big balls, not the kind of like the medium-sized balls of purple, and then it's got like the lovely pink below it.
What's just great about these is these are exclusive to Terra, so I mean these are something very special that we have.
Exactly.
And because of just to be out for us like this new year in the year for us, there's so many different varieties. You know, sometimes when you see something new come out like this, you only have like a couple choices, but there are a lot. Like the hyacinth pears are beautiful as well.
And these are fragrant.
Yes, these are
which
so
is amazing. And they're great. Most of these are great for cut flowers too. So you can bring them inside.
Oh, I love doing that in the spring. That's so fun. All right, so we have a few tools here we just want to mention as well. Of course, bone meal, again, is another important.
Bone meal is a root booster.
Right.
So that helps. It's a long-term root booster. So this is good, actually, if you're planting anything in the fall as well, because it becomes available to the plant on a slow release basis.
Okay.
So then it's good for the plant even in the spring.
Okay.
And because these are basically roots, then that's good for them for food.
Okay.
As a deterrent, if you do have the squirrel problem, you can use a blood and bone meal, and it's the blood meal that helps deter them.
Okay, good. A couple tools as well. You were mentioning to me this just helps again with your measurements.
Yes. So it's got like 1 inch increments on here, so you know how deep your hole really is, because sometimes your eye isn't as good as the measuring stick.
Yes.
And this is actually an old-fashioned tool. It's called a dibbler, and same thing with that. It's great for planting individual bulbs really quickly. You just basically insert it in the ground. It makes a hole, plop the bulb in, cover it up.
Easy. And of course, that's another version of getting the bulb.
And then another.
Very good.
Cool. Bulb planter.
So again, available at Terra now, and the time is now to plant your bulbs. Perfect timing, right?
Perfect.
Very good, and hopefully we have a nice fall. This is the foreshadowing. Hopefully it's good.
Yes.
Thanks, Colleen, for all the good information. And again, get yourself ready for fall. All kinds of great things at Terra right now. That's it for now. We will be back in a bit.
Heritage Perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning, welcome back to Terra at Home. I'm here with Annette Brennan, and we are at the Dundas location of Crock-A-Doodle, and this is one of many locations that you have. So how many locations are we at?
So yeah, now we're up to 12.
That's amazing. So I mean, we've been talking about, I've known of your growth over the years, the last 10 years, and it's amazing to see how far you've come. But this is again something that adults and children love, because it is a place you can come and paint and take your mind off life and have fun.
Well, I think that's why it's really catching on. That certainly kids come to Crock-A-Doodle for birthday parties and kids events, but once moms and the rest of the family get in, then we really grabs on, and so we're growing.
That's absolutely the thing, and I know it really is. Once you get in here, you're excited as an adult, even just because, again, it's just a bit of a getaway from life. I think sometimes when once we're out of school and we're out of some of that creativity side of our lives, and we're just on that wheel of life, we forget how much fun this is and how it just takes you away for an hour or two. And
well, that was really the whole reason why I started the concept. I thought life's getting so busy, and it's all about technology and efficiency and faster. With Crock-A-Doodle, you slow things down and you get back to just simple playing, and we really focus on the fun. We don't talk about kind of heavy kind of art. We call it fun art, not fine art. So it's really anyone can do it.
And I think that's what's fun is we have a wall of pieces behind us, and it's everything from functional to fun, right? Because you literally can make functional things, which we are going to in a little bit, a nice platter, but you can have, you can paint a lizard if you want, like some of the kids choose, right?
Yes.
And I guess also to talk a little bit about some of the themes that we have going. You guys are really good with seasonal changes.
Yes, every season has a reason, and so just the season inspires new colors and new designs, but whatever's on trend, certainly children make it known. We went through the big Angry Bird phase and Minecraft, and
you have to stay on top of that, don't you?
Oh yes, we're so hip.
Because I was going to say, because you know of things. My guy's only 4, so you know of things that I don't even know of, because some of the older kids would come in and ask you, and if you don't have it, some of the especially older kids, right? They're like, want to be cool, right? So they have to find that piece that's going to reflect them and where they're at in their stage of their life, right?
Yeah, and really we have every pieces for every age and ability. But yeah, we had a big popular run on the Red Solo Cup because that appeals to a certain age group.
I know, but it's amazing though, right? And I love, so right now, obviously, as we get into fall, there's the whole fall theme, and people, there's something that comes with that, especially when here in Canada and Southern Ontario, the association of colors, and again, as you say, you follow the color changes with the season, and the pieces change. So just some of the fall pieces, for example, it just takes people again to functional because of family coming over, right?
The fall's my favorite season anyway, just with the color and the fresh start of fall. And our lineup for fall is awesome. We have serving platters, harvest bowls, turkey platters, a whole line of owl-inspired pieces, so owl lanterns, owl mugs. So so
what I think is great is that when people come in, a lot of you have pieces that are done on display, so it inspires people. Because I know one thing, you can be all artsy and you think you're creative, and then you sit and you're like, I have this plain white piece and I really don't know what to do, especially when it's something like this, like a platter, for example. Some people get excited, but then they actually don't know what to put on it. So you have ideas around, and you can inspire people.
Yes, what we've learned very early on that people can be intimidated.
Yes.
And we really focus on the fun, relax, enjoy it, but we recognize that people need a little kind of boost. So we've got terrific samples. We've got technique sheets, so we can show people 1, 2, 3. This is how you create this piece, and really give them the confidence to to relax and have fun with it, and then have a piece that they're going to love and use.
And that's the thing, especially if people are coming over and you are using it at Thanksgiving dinner. You want to be proud to say, "Hey, I made that," or not admit that you made it.
Yeah.
And again, we're basically talking about adults here, because kids don't have the same stresses over things. The little ones, they just come in and paint. They grab a piece and they just do whatever they want.
It's wonderful.
And that's really nice. It's a little more freeing than how we get all stressed out about some of the stuff we paint. I know I do.
Yeah, we really try to take the pressure off, and there's no rules, there's no expectations, and little ones know that just instinctively.
Right.
And then we get taught to try to be perfect and stay in the lines, and that doesn't apply at Crock-A-Doodle.
Yeah, exactly. So. You don't need to do that. Okay, so let's talk about the actual, before we paint our piece here, when people are coming in the door, how does it all work? You don't have to call ahead, you can just drop in?
No, we're drop-in studios, so certainly we've got some structured kind of programs that, whether it's a ladies' night or a preschool Once Upon a Doodle story time program, so there are some activities that you do register for, but we are a drop-in studio, so come
that's
anytime.
What's great about it, right?
So
because then sometimes it's hard to stick to the times in life because you're late from work or you're moving parts in a family. So it's nice to be able to just drop in.
Yeah,
have fun.
Then, it's a rainy day and you're looking for something kind of fun and colorful, and we've got it. So.
We're getting into rain season, so oh boy! All right, so let's talk about the piece that I have here right now and some of the fall-inspired ideas that you have.
Okay, so first of all, this is a swoop platter. It's absolutely terrific for serving.
I love this.
So it's got a nice contemporary shape to it. But this is called bisque, so it's ready to paint pottery. So this is clay that's already been fired once in the kiln.
Okay.
So then people come in and they add their color, their design, and then we're then going to take that finished piece and glaze it and fire it in the kiln so it comes out bright, shiny, food safe.
And you come back a few years later and it's like, ta-da! You can't wait. It's so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you've put some cool colors here for us. Obviously, people can pick whatever colors they want, and I love that you guys are so free with your paint. You're not, I find you guys are just like, oh, here, go for it, and that's really nice too. So now, what are you doing? Because you're going to be using leaves. We're using leaves.
Well, 'tis the season, so we thought we would show a fall-inspired design.
Okay.
So people can worry about they're not creative and they don't know kind of how to use a paintbrush or they put too much kind of pressure on themselves.
Sure.
With this design, it's so simple because really you're painting the leaf and pressing it onto the piece, and you're getting a nice leaf imprint. So you're and kind of working with the colors of the season, you get a really interesting result. So we want you.
So we're actually going to paint the leaf and then press the leaf onto it.
That's right.
Okay.
And you can really kind of throw different colors onto that, so you get a real kind of mix of color. Because if you imagine fall leaves, they're not perfectly.
No, they're not.
They're not one color. They're
so
many colors.
How much paint am I putting on?
You
here?
want to put it on pretty thick.
Okay.
And you'll see that the oils of that leaf are trying to
look
repel
at that,
it.
right? Because it's a nice healthy leaf right now.
So you can now grab another color and throw it on top, and you'll get a nice mix. So this is an interesting kind of play on probably our most popular prints would be little handprints and footprints.
Oh yes, because that's so great for people to do for their little ones to document them as they grow, right?
We are handprint
So I'm
central.
flipping this over.
Yeah, and you're going to put it onto the piece and you're going to press it.
Okay.
And hold it down, press it firm.
Okay. So locations all over the place. People can look up online. Your website is?
Yeah, Crock-A-Doodle.com.
Okay, perfect.
And we are growing through franchising, so we're at 12 locations now. We expect to have 3 to 5 more by the end of year, so it's really catching on.
I love it. So something for everyone in every community around our region. And look, there's just the beginning. I should have painted the stem, I guess, but look at that. See? I could do it too. Thank you so much, Annette. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
All right, more TERRA at Home after this.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning, welcome back to TERRA at Home. We are back with Chef Iain in our home kitchen here, and it's our last day of summer today, moving into fall.
Yes.
So we have the most perfect thing, corn. And what's our recipe today?
I'm doing a wonderful chilled corn soup with a avocado shrimp little salad garnish on top.
Oh, you had me at that part too, because that sounds amazing. And I know that you always make everything look so pretty, so I'm actually really looking forward to that.
Very kind. And most importantly, it's really simple to make. I mean, it's not really a long ingredient list, but we can get started.
Okay.
I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of butter.
All right.
And that's just going to go into our pot.
Okay.
There we go. I'm just going to warm that up to include a little bit of olive oil. And we're just going to melt that down.
Okay.
And when that's underway, we're going to add some onions, some chopped onions.
Onions,
yep,
good.
it's a whole large onion. It's fine chopped.
Now, a lot of times people are making chilled soups. Sometimes, obviously, you know, when it comes maybe like a watermelon soup, it's chilled. It shouldn't never ever be hot. But something like this, could it be also a hot soup? Could you eat it as a hot soup?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Hot or cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're making it chilled because we're still getting those warm days in September, and that just, you know, that's just the way it is, right?
It's just a little memory of summer past.
Exactly. Yeah. With those
well,
flavors
I'm not ready
of
for
corn.
fall quite yet.
No.
But yes.
I love
to which
fall,
I've
but
just
not quite
added some shallot.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a little bit of garlic. Just
Okay.
1 clove of garlic. And we're just going to continue to cook that down until it's almost brown, Leslie.
Okay.
Very nice. Once that's underway, we're going to add 6 cobs of corn.
Okay.
And what the great thing about is when the cobs, when they're finished, what we can do is we can then set up to make our corn stock, which is really easy to make.
Yes.
Again, instead of just using plain water, you can intensify the flavors. 6 ears of corn, you add a little bit of celery, a little bit of onion and bay leaf, and you just leave that on the go.
Really?
And that's just going to intensify, and you'll get a wonderful corn
I
flavor.
can smell this, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that great? So, again, I guess you could use, as you say, you could use water, you could use vegetable stock that's not corn-based. Could you use chicken stock?
You could use chicken stock.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But again, I just want to intensify the flavors of the corn.
Flavor. Oh, that's so smart.
So, as I
Love
had
it.
said, I'm just going to add my corn. We're going to keep the corn going for about 6 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
Just until it becomes very, very soft.
Now, this is uncooked corn that's just been chopped directly from the cob.
Directly from the cob.
All right.
Exactly. Get that going. And once that cooks down, like I said, we're going to add 5½ cups of our corn stock.
Okay.
Like I said, a very, very easy recipe to follow and make.
That's what I love about soups, though. In general, you have kind of a base sort of, you know, how you start out with, and you're sweating down onions and garlic and that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then really, it's just something about being adventurous with soups. And I love that, again, you can have soup any day of the year. It doesn't matter. So if it is really hot, go for the chilled side, and you've got something yummy and healthy for dinner.
What I love about soup is you're just adding the different flavor bases. Like you had said, you could start with just a chicken stock or a vegetable stock, and it's what you have in your fridge. I find that's what classical cooking is all about, is what you have at the time. So what we're going to do from now is...
You just added some time, right?
I did add some time. Thank you so much. What we're going to do now is we're going to bring it across very carefully to our Vitamix, our blender, because we'd like to puree it. I use a Vitamix, so you can use an immersion blender. The importance is we want to blend it down to get that silky, satiny, smooth sort of texture that we'd like.
Okay.
So we're going to be really, really careful when it comes to adding to the hot soup into our Vitamix or our blender.
So am I doing this? Because I think that's dangerous, so you do it.
Okay, fair enough. The thing to just keep in mind is work in small batches when the time comes.
Okay.
You don't want to overwhelm the blender, and
So I always love the idea now that of the hand blenders, as you're saying, using like an immersion blender in here versus having to do this is always really fun
that's
too, right?
also another opportunity. Again, you're just using the immersion blender right on the pot,
Right.
and you're avoiding bringing the hot soup into a blender.
Right.
The thing to keep in mind is to make sure that it's covered on the top.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, I cannot find my towel.
Okay, we have one right here. Perfect.
Fantastic.
Okay, ready? Let's
Yeah.
do it. Okay. Switch it on. yeah, working in small batches, that way again you're not filling it up and it just becomes too much. So some people want to just get it all done in one batch.
My only concern is when we're putting too much in the blender, when it kickstarts, it tends to throw up the soup, and the last thing we want to do is avoid any scalded fingers.
Okay.
The most other important thing to do when the time comes is we want to put it into an ice bath. We really got to keep in mind health and safety.
Yes.
And before we transfer it into the fridge, we really need to bring down the core temperature of the soup so it goes into an ice bath itself. There you go. It have wonderful flavors and smells that are coming through. And like I said, we'll just work in stages and we'll work in batches.
That's lovely. And again, it looks like you haven't added any cream or milk yet, but it looks...
No cream, no milk. It's butter, onions, like I said, a little shallot, a little garlic, and you have a wonderful pale yellow color. And just the intensity of the corn flavors is wonderful.
You can smell it. It smells so good. So again, versus just being, you were talking about that extreme temperature change, like just getting it down and chilled right away. So you couldn't just put it, like a big batch of it in your fridge, just grab it and stick it in your fridge?
It would overwhelm your fridge just a little too much.
Yes.
And not to mention, we just need to bring the core temperature down. We don't want to give the opportunity for unhealthy bacteria to thrive. So this again brings the temperature down into the soup.
Okay, so as we lead off to break here, again, we're going to come back and you're going to show us how we put together that lovely little topping for our soup and just kind of finish it all up so it turns into a really healthy meal for everybody. Right?
I look forward to it.
Can't wait for it. Avocado and shrimp and oh boy, it's going to be good. All right,
great.
I'll be right back in a few. Welcome back to TERRA at Home, and we're back in the kitchen with Chef Iain, and our soup is officially chilled. So after putting it in the Vitamix, we have our, I love your display. You have it just like you'd serve it to me in the restaurant.
Absolutely.
And now look what we have.
What I've done is I've taken some shrimp and gone out to our Broil King barbecue, grilled them off nice and lightly, to which I added some mangoes, I've added some avocado, some red onion, a good healthy squeeze of lemon juice, and some parsley and some dill.
Perfect.
And what we're going to do is we're going to top that on top of our chilled corn soup.
That's good. So that actually just adds some more protein to the meal, and it really actually turns it into a meal, essentially, right?
Most definitely.
And I love that because, of course, we're using fresh herbs. You can always get your fresh herbs at TERRA, even in the fall. We have lots and lots, and fill your kitchen with them, and then you always have them handy to just throw in. Herbs are what really help flavor and give you, I would put in a pile of cilantro in there if it was me. Where's my cilantro, Chef Iain?
I'm very sorry to let you down.
We still have to get to know each other even better, so you can put cilantro in everything when it comes to me.
We're still in our polite stages. Okay.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to pour this in here, right?
We'll pour the soup in.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Am I putting it all in? Or is that good?
Perfect.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right.
One way to impress your guests when they come over is to have squeeze bottles available. Make it look like it's a restaurant-style dish.
Okay.
One of the first ones that I have is a little bit of yogurt and a little bit of goat's cheese.
Okay.
Blended it up. It makes for a wonderful little presentation.
Okay.
A little stark white against.
Now, as you're doing this, I just want to remind people we are so excited. As of Saturday, October 12th, our show is going to be airing at 11 a.m. So you can get up, come shopping at TERRA, then go back home and watch the show. We're excited about that. It's going to be good. Good times. All right, and what else?
To which I'm also got a little mint oil. So I've taken some mint and some olive oil and put it together.
Okay,
And finally our top.
Perfect.
There we go, just a little on top.
Very nice, and that is our lovely chilled corn soup. Thank you very much, Chef Iain.
Thank you so much
for
your time.
Have yourself a good weekend.
Great.